Martin Bartolova.
And right now, you're just kind of thinking in your minds now. You've just come out of the change rooms. If you're Roger Federer or even any of the top women, Williams or Sharapova, walking down into this corridor, getting ready to head out onto Laver Arena. So on the right-hand side, you have all the men's champions, and on your left-hand side, all the female champions. So let's head on across. Apologies for a little bit of a mess. We just had Brian Adams here last night, so we're still in the process of cleaning the whole area up. So what a great way to start our Walk of Champions with Steffi Graf in 1988 winning the Australian Open for the first time. She was actually the very first player to bounce a ball on the Laver Arena surface, and we like to take a bit of credit for the success she had that year, because not only did she win the Australian Open, but she won all 4 Grand Slams in the 1 year and the Olympic gold medal. The only player to have done it in the 1 year. And just a pretty fantastic effort from her. And over here, Martina Hingis in 1997, you can see there winning her first Australian Open of 3. She was actually 16 years and 9 months old when she won her first Grand Slam tournament. It's hard to believe that someone so young could move through the draw like that and win. She's only 32 years of age, and it's hard to believe she's just been retired for so many years. And yeah, just a great champion at such a young age. But you can see there, winning the first 3, she actually made it to 6 consecutive finals here at Melbourne Park. Just up here. I know what you're thinking. Yeah. We're running out of space here, but we've just got an agreement with Nadal, Federer and Djokovic. They can just win the next 10 between them, so that we don't have to worry about it for another 10 years. That'd be great. The women can win a couple more if they like, but yeah, if we could just keep it with those 3, that'd be great.
Where do you want to sit down? Stand down.
How do you feel, Rafa, about today's performance?
So, guys, this is obviously our media conference room. It's probably not as big as some of you may think. Is there a chair there, mate?
I can't see.
He's standing on one.
Probably primary school, actually. So all the media will be outside, lining up, pushing each other, trying to get the best spots that they can come in here and get the prime spot to ask all the players those important questions. It's actually really important that the players do their pre and post-match press conferences, because they're actually contractually obligated to do so, and if they don't, they will be heavily fined. So in 2003 at the US Open, our very own Leighton Hewitt was unfortunately fined close to $100,000 for not doing his post-match press conference there. So didn't have the greatest result, and chose not to go to his press conference, and he was penalised for it. So it's pretty important, and we're seeing nowadays with sponsorships and endorsements being so important in sport, a lot of the players are not making the bulk of their money from their results on court, they're making it from their off-court endeavours. So yeah, it's pretty important that they do their post-match press conference and pre-conference as well. So yeah, if anyone wants to get a picture in front of the signage, please come down. Took here last week, the lights were all switched off, so it's good that we've got the electricity up and running at the moment. But yeah, so in 1988, this was when it was finally completed, and I told you before downstairs that Steffi Graf was the very first player to bounce a ball on the surface. It was known then as the National Tennis Centre and then renamed Rod Laver Arena in 2000. There are over 60 shows here annually, so it's not just the tennis in January that we all love. Unfortunately, with Australia not in the world group right now of the Davis Cup, we don't have any tennis here except for those 2 weeks in January. So pretty much it's used as a staging area for various musical acts, and the likes of, I mean, we had Bryan Adams here last night, but just recently this year we've had Robert Plant, Paul Simon, Linkin Park, The Script, just to name a few this year. And then we've had the likes of bigger acts, Jennifer Lopez, One Direction, Prince, Maroon 5. We also have the wrestling here, and then we talk about the versatility of the events. And someone just mentioned it before. The 2007, we hosted the FINA World Swimming Championships here, where a 50-meter Olympic-sized swimming pool was put out in here inside Rod Laver. Pretty impressive that we could get the arena set up like that. So we also have other sports here, like I said, the wrestling. We have Krusty Demons and Nitro Circus, so we have all the dirt and sign door just on the other side. That was the actual entry point onto the surface. So again, just kind of thinking in your minds where we were backstage before, and knowing how close we are to those important areas and to the court surface as well. When the players come out, they'll head on to that opposite side, so the western side of the court, which is where their chairs and the chair umpire will be situated. The player boxes will be just, in fact, right here on this side, and then on the other side is a collection of about 10 seats for the players and their entourage as well to sit. Anyone have any questions about Rod Laver or anything at all?
How many seats?
So in tennis form, it's about 12,000 people. Justin Timberlake has a record at 13,900 when he did his concert here in the early 2000s. So yeah, about 12 to 14,000 is the seating capacity here, which is a little bit more than Hisense Arena, which is about 8 to 10,000 people. And yeah, so we have Hisense Arena there, another multi-purpose venue, but an indoor velodrome is built inside there, so any cycling events can be held there. And then Margaret Court Arena, I'll talk a little bit more about that when we get downstairs, but it will be another multi-purpose arena in 2014 when it will have a retractable roof put on the top.
How long does it take the roof to open?
Yep, so it's a roof that weighs over 700 tons, and it takes about 20 to 25 minutes for it to open and close. So very old technology. As I said before, 1988, it was the first of its kind in the world. So we see so many stadiums nowadays, football stadiums, mini stadiums like this, that have retractable roofs, even former stadiums that had open roofs that are now putting roofs on the top. So the biggest example is Centre Court at Wimbledon, getting a retractable roof put on the top like after the event. So yeah, it's pretty good that we were able to have this in 1988, because it means that tennis can like go all year round and all tournament long. So we have the odd occasion where it might rain, but most of all we have that extreme heat here in Australia. So especially this year, we had a 41-degree day, and on-court temperature could be something like 6 to 8 degrees more. So you can just only imagine what the players on the outdoor courts experience when we're pretty warm and wearing our t-shirts and shorts and thinking it's way too hot, and the players unfortunately have to get out there and play their best in those grueling conditions. So those who have the luxury of being in here, so those top players in the world and some of the Australians as well, have it pretty good if they have the extreme heat policy. In saying that, the tournament director has the final say as to when the when the roof will close, because we do take into account a special formula which is known as the wet bulb globe temperature, which is a special formula that takes into account air pressure, humidity, and all those sorts of things. And if that reaches a specific temperature, then the roof will be closed. But a lot of the players we see, like Nadal and Williams, who have this great physicality that they work so hard to get, and then all of a sudden we close the roof and take their advantage away. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to please everyone, but yeah, we try and do our best. And obviously patrons as well is a a concern. We don't want people like passing out from exhaustion or heat stroke or that sort of thing. So we have to take into account so many different things, and sometimes you can't please everyone. But yeah, we do try and keep it open as much as possible, as tennis is an outdoor event. So even if there is forecast rain, we if it's going to be really heavy like late in the afternoon, we'll keep it open during the day and maybe even close it halfway, and then we'll be able to close it and not waste too much time in terms of a rain delay, so that the players will have to get off court. But again, it is an outdoor event, so we just try and keep it open as much as possible.
Can we have Ben Clark and Laurie Valeri to contest, please?